All right, so first off, good morning, right? I know, school's exciting and all that, but I was told that most of you guys signed up to be here willingly, so that's good, right? At least you have some type of interest, or most of you have some type of interest in the military or the Guard, right? That being said, I'm Staff Sergeant Kalanda. I work with Staff Sergeant Douglas. Has anybody talked to Staff Sergeant Douglas before, or seen her in the school at like a lunch display or something like that? No? Maybe a few times? Okay. All right, so Staff Sergeant Douglas you're like assigned recruiter from the Army National Guard. So you're going to start seeing her more and more. She was away at school. She's getting ready to be promoted again. So that's awesome, right? She'll be back. You'll see her often at lunch displays. Hopefully she'll be in here doing this kind of stuff. And you guys will get to meet her and talk to her, and she'll give you more like one-on-one time. But so again, Staff Sergeant Kalanda. I have been in the National Guard for about 13 years. I started out, I went to basic training 2013. Came back from basic training, was in a truck driver unit. So I was just an 88 Mike, which is a transport specialist, just driving trucks. That's all I did. And then after 10 years of doing that, I decided I wanted to go full-time in the Guard. I changed my job to 88 November, which is more like a logistics standpoint, where essentially I plan routes, plan deployments, that kind of thing. And then I ended up being a recruiter because I thought the Guard was awesome. I mean, it paid for my college. I went to SHIP for 2 years. It was free. There's no reason why the Guard didn't help me get to where I'm at. So I love talking about it, and I love helping other people to hopefully you guys see some kind of benefit out of it to get you wherever you want to go, right? Because it's an enhancement for your life. Go ahead.
So my name is Staff Sergeant Williams. I am new to recruiting, so I'm actually a recruiter's assistant. So just basically about me, I've been in the National Guard for 15 years. I enlisted in 2010. As a junior in high school, so I did a program you might learn about today. It's called the Split Option Program. So I went to basic training between my junior and senior year, came back, and then finished my senior year, and then I went to infantry school down in Georgia, and I trained as a sniper for 5 years, and then I reclassed, which is you change your jobs in the National Guard. It's called a reclassification. So I joined the field artillery, and that's where I'm serving now as a field artillery radar operator. We use computers and software and frequencies and stuff like that to conduct counter battery and counter field artillery fire missions.
All right, so one of our biggest slogans is always ready, always there. The National Guard is the hometown heroes, right? They're the people that you think of when you think of natural disasters. Has anybody seen, like, when you're driving on the highway and you see a big, not a poster, but a billboard, and it has the National Guard in there, probably like, in a little boat or something, pulling somebody out of the water, right? Or the rappellant from a helicopter pulling them out of the water, right? That happens, and that is something that we do. Obviously, we don't get a lot of flooding in Pennsylvania, but every state has a National Guard. And one of the coolest things about PA, we're the third largest. So we get sent all over the place. When Hurricane Katrina hit, which I know some of you probably aren't familiar with, but I know your teachers are. When that happened, that was one of the worst devastating hurricanes we had in the country. And we sent people from PA down to help the other states that were affected. This is something that we do all the time. When there's riots, right? Or the Pope comes to Philadelphia, that was something we did. We went out there and we were on standby. We had troops there ready to go. Things such as earthquakes, snow, anything. The National Guard is there. That is our thing, right? Is natural disasters at home. But I digress. So, all right, so we have a state mission and a federal mission. The state mission, again, is that natural disasters. We go out there, we help respond to things if the governor calls upon us, right? Or another state asks our governor, says, hey, can we have your National Guard? We need help with something. Then the federal side is when we do deploy. The National Guard does deploy. I have deployed to Kuwait and Iraq. It was nothing crazy, no wartime, right? I hung out on base, did some cool logistics stuff, stuff that I find fun. Maybe he wouldn't because he likes to blow things up, right? But regardless, it was a cool experience, and I got to meet people from other countries. I got to meet a bunch of different NATO troops like Canada, all types of different people. I think it was at Sweden or Norway. One of the two was over there as well. And they're always cool because you always see us clean shaven. They have full beards. A lot of the other NATO countries, they look a lot cooler than we do. So, but yeah, that was an awesome experience. So you can deploy with the National Guard, but a lot of it does come down to you guys volunteering to do so. Most of the time, you aren't going to just get thrown on one unless they absolutely need you. So there's a state and a federal side. So this breaks down a little bit more, right? Protecting Pennsylvania, responding to natural disasters, assist in public emergencies, which COVID, you guys were all affected by COVID. You guys were all in high school. You know what happened, right? Everything got shut down, kind of scary, right? People died. Big issue. So we had a National Guardsman in Pennsylvania going to nursing homes, administering vaccines, going around and just keeping public order, right? That is something that we were like majorly involved in. Now, granted, I was overseas, so I didn't get to experience that. I was overseas during COVID, a little bit different. Wearing a mask in the middle of the desert is not fun, I promise. Sandstorm hits and it's a disaster. But so activated again by the governor for the state emergencies, and then serving overseas missions if you guys deploy. Part of the U.S. military. We are part of the military. We are the Army. So we wear the same uniform, right? Still says U.S. Army, but we're a different component. You have active Army, you have the Army Reserves, you have the National Guard. And again, that biggest difference between us and the reserves, because we're both part-time, right, is that we respond to the governor, the state, and not just going on deployments and all that kind of stuff, okay? All right. So if this is something that you want to do, every branch of the military has contracts, right? That's how it works. You sign up for a little bit of time, you get a bunch of cool benefits, which we'll break down, and you do your time. There's a 6-year contract, there's a 3-year contract. That 6-year contract, right, when you guys are thinking about the longevity, right, if you do split up, which we're going to go into, that starts taking away right away. But 6-year contract, you go to drill. That's all you do in the Guard. You wake up on a weekend and you're like, okay, it's my drill weekend, 2 days a month. You go to that weekend drill, you come back, you go to college, you go to your job, whatever you want to do. That's it. 1 weekend a month. And then during the summer, we normally have an annual training, which is 2 to 3 weeks long. That is normally like, so I'm a truck driver, or I was a truck driver, so what I would do is I'd show up to annual training, I'd hop in a truck, and we'd start driving across country delivering ammunition to all different bases across the country. So I've been to Texas, I've been to South Dakota, and mind you, it wasn't by plane, it was driving the whole way there in military convoys, being escorted by state police, stopping at cool bases that you probably don't know exist because there's certain things there. We've done a lot of cool things with the unit that I was a part of. So, and that was all on my annual training. But that being said, that's it, right? 1 weekend a month, and 2 to 3 weeks during the summer. And that's all in 6 years. Now the 2 years up there you're going to see is the IRR. It says 6x2. 2 years of IRR means you're on standby in case we go to World War VII, right? Because that's Glory World War VII, it skips all the others. And then 3-year contract, there's obviously some stipulations to that, right? You have to have already been graduated. There's no educational benefits, that kind of thing. So, all right, so split option. Who in here is a junior? Okay. Have you guys thought about what you want to do after high school? Like, honestly. Is anybody really concerned about it yet? Or thought about it? A little bit? Like, what do you want to do after high school?
Marines.
Okay. You're going to the Marines? Somebody else? Straight to college. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So, cool thing about split op, right? And this is what I'm talking about, that's 6 years. Split option is when a junior who is 17 can enlist, go to basic training during your junior, senior summer in between, knock that out, you come back, your time's taken away in your contract, right? You're walking around in a uniform, right? Because when you're going to drills and stuff, because you're already going to start drilling, you have a uniform, you've been to basic training, and I'm not going to, you're a badass, right? You're cool, you're awesome. At that point, everybody's probably jealous of you. And after you graduate high school, you go to your job training, and that gap is just perfect enough because you're right at college right after that, right? So when that college semester starts, you've already done your training over that summer. Your contract at that point, you have probably over a year ticked away, right? By the time you get to college. And then at that point, your contract, say you're doing 4 years in college, your contract's almost over by the time you're done with college. We've paid for your college, which we'll go into, right? You had a free education, your contract's almost over, and you have all kinds of job training and resume building that you can use as soon as you graduate college. So all in that 6 years, you've accomplished so much. But again, this option is open to juniors who are 17 years old. So if this is something you want to do, call that number on there at the end. Talk to Sergeant Douglas and she'll help you out. But this is one of the coolest things we do offer. You will start going to the RSP program, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But that's really cool because you'll start to get military training before you even go to basic training. So if you go to basic training, like any other military branch, or excuse me, the Army, you go to Fort Moore, Fort Jackson, Fort Sill, or Fort Leonard Wood. Does anybody know anybody that has been to basic training before? Okay. Is it family? Family? Okay. Anybody have any friends that maybe were seniors or juniors and they already joined? They went off to basic training at some point? Yeah? Okay. So basic training, I think, is the biggest thing that you guys think about when you think about the military. You think scary, right? I talked to somebody on the phone last night. They were interested in joining, and they kept asking me, like, well, is basic training going to be hard? Is it scary? Basic training is not scary. It is like a summer camp. You go to summer camp, it's going to be a little tough in the sense that you're going to have to wake up early in the morning, go do some fun PT, go eat some breakfast, go do some training. Maybe you're going to shooting range that day. Maybe you're rappelling from a tower, right? Maybe you're doing obstacle courses where you got to throw each other over it. The stuff that you do there is freaking fun as crap. You're going to throw a grenade. Have you guys ever wanted to throw a grenade, see a giant explosion, right? It's kind of cool, right? So there's a lot of cool things you do at basic training. You learn teamwork, you learn leadership, right? So say you guys are trying to go, is anybody trying to go into like the business and have their own business? Anybody? No? Anybody want to be like a business executive? A CEO someday? Anybody want to be in a leadership position? Maybe? Maybe? Okay, all right. So military teaches you a lot of leadership, and that's something you'll learn at basic training as well. So, but honestly, it comes down to teamwork. You work together with the buddies that you're there at basic training with, that you're going to meet from all around the country, right? Whether it's all the way in Guam, right? Or it's New Jersey, right? There's going to be people from all over the country. Come on. All right. AIT. So you have basic training, which teaches you the basics of how to be a soldier, and then you have AIT. AIT is based off your job. So what is something that you want to do when you graduate? What do you see yourself doing as a job?
Going into law.
Okay. So you want to be a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So guess what? We got paralegals. Yeah. And they go somewhere specifically. Actually, they go to Fort Lee, I believe. That's where their training is, which is down in Virginia. And you learn how to be a paralegal, which is dealing with law, right? What do you want to do when you graduate?
Computer programming.
Computer programming? Okay. We have all kinds of computer-oriented jobs, all the way from like cybersecurity kind of stuff, all the way to like literally running radar dishes, right? So there's a lot of computer-oriented stuff, a lot of technology that the military has, right? And all those things, you could pretty much get training on that. And those are all over the place. A lot of the cool intel jobs. You guys ever thought about the guys that have the secret clearances and work for the government? Not just in the military side, but like the CIA, FBI, all that. They get top secret clearances. You can get them free through the military. If that's something you guys aspire to do. You get a free top secret clearance because you can go into intel, and then after you graduate from AIT, well, somebody might give you a ring, and you might end up with a really, really cool job somewhere. So, so they're all over the country, and depending on what you choose, that determines where you go. All right, so RSP. Does anybody know of anybody that is going to RSP right now or is already in the Guard and they're in the school? No? Okay. So RSP is this really cool program where after you enlist, say you enlist tomorrow, right? You start going to RSP the following month. So if you enlist now, the end of this month, you would start going to RSP next month and you would go to your first drill. Your first drill consists of going there at 8 o'clock in the morning, really not that bad, right? You do some PT. You might do some medical training, which is what we did last month. So we actually had giant mannequins. You're dragging the mannequin across the floor. You're putting a tourniquet on it. You're putting bandages on it. It might be squirting blood out. Like the training that we do at RSP is pretty cool, right? You might do squad tactics, right? You might get in a wedge formation and you're running across the outside. The recruiters and the drill sergeant are up in the field, probably, pew, 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 pretending to shoot at you, right? You have to take cover. We go to the electronic shooting range over at the Gap. Does anybody know about the Fort Indiantown Gap? No, dang. All right, so it's the headquarters of the PA Army National Guard. And we have people that come all across the world to come over to that training. People from Lithuania come there for training, okay? Marines from other states come here. But anyway, I digress. RSP, you learn all kinds of cool training. And then when you're done with that training, right, when your basic training ship date comes up, go out to basic training, and you have all that stuff already in your pocket. which is really, really cool because you've already started getting paid. You're probably going to be a higher rank than all those other people at basic training because you were at RSB, right? You learn skills, and you know that the drill sergeant's going to yell at you, but you know how to address them so they don't, give you that extra screen. But, and again, your time in service starts, right? You're starting to get paid. That's a part-time job if you guys don't have a job now. And you're going to gain that leadership and teamwork experience. So, and I promise the drill sergeant we have there, Drill Sergeant Slempa, she'll help you overcome the fear of basic training because you're going to get it all out there. But education. So I know some of you guys want to go to college, right? All right. Have you guys thought about where you want to go? Okay, where do you want to go?
I am between a bunch of places.
Okay, well, give me one of them.
I'm not good under pressure.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Somebody else. Give me a college that you guys are looking at going to.
California.
Where is it?
California and Reading, PA.
Okay. Do you know if it's a state college or is it private or what kind of school is it?
I'm not sure. I think
Okay.
it's State College.
Okay, awesome. Anybody else? Nobody? Okay, all right. So, with our education benefits in the Guard, again, part-time job, you get EAP, which is Education Assistance Program. And what that does is that covers any state school. So say that's a state school. If you guys look on the sheet in front of you, EAP covers a state school 100%. So that's 100% of college covered for going to drill one weekend a month and doing a summer camp during the summer, 1 to 3 weeks. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. If I was to, let's say I worked at Sheets, right? And I was the manager, and you guys came to apply, and you're like, yeah, I'm just looking for a part-time job. Okay. And I'm like, okay, well, what if I give you that part-time job, right? You have to work, let's say 2 weekends out of the month, right? And I'll give you 100% free college. I think that most of you guys would think that's a good deal, right? This is only 1 weekend a month for free college, okay? This is like, it can't get any easier than this. We are giving this out. This is insane. We're giving way too many benefits, if you ask me. So, but we'll break it down a little bit. So that EAP, 100% or $4,097 a semester, okay? So what that means is if you go to state school, 100% covered. And if you go somewhere fancy, right? Let's say you go to a private Catholic school. I think there's one up in Scranton, Marywood. I have somebody going there that just enlisted. And they're going to Marywood. We're going to pay $4,097 a semester, right? Which is $8,000 a year, which again is more than anybody else is going to pay in the first place. So, still cover your education, maybe just not 100%. But state schools, it's covered. Federal tuition assistance, that's something that the active duty is going to come to you and they're going to talk about if that's something you guys have looked at, going active duty. They're going to be like, all right, I can give you $4,000 a year. But then we go back to this, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if they can offer you that, right? Because that's state education assistance program. So if I take that with that, well, that's a lot of money, right? So that's what, $8,000 a year plus $4,000 a year? All right, so that's a good bit of money. Let's say you're going to, again, you're going to like Penn State, because fun fact, Penn State is not a state school. It's actually privately owned. It's state affiliated, but yeah, so we're going to give you the most bang for your buck. Outside of that, who wants to go into IT? You said you want to, right? What kind of certs do you think of when you think about the IT world? You thought about CompTIA? Do you know what that is?
No.
No? Okay. Does anybody know what CompTIA is? No? All right, who wants to go into the medical field and do like EMT work, that kind of thing? Okay, so EMT certs, okay. Is anybody trying to not go to college, get some certifications, and just go right into the workforce? A few of you guys got to be going to the workforce. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Like aircraft mechanic.
Okay, all right. Who do you want to work for? Do you have a goal?
Like an airport.
Okay, like an airport? Okay. So not like a specific company like Boeing or something like that? Just work for an airport? Piedmont?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. How about somebody else?
Marines, infantry.
Okay, so yeah, that's right. You did say Marines. Okay. Nobody else? What are you guys doing when you graduate high school? What are you doing? Just chilling for now?
Us?
Okay. Yeah. What are you doing? Real estate? Okay, heck yeah. All right, cool. So you got to have a little bit of teamwork, a little bit of leadership, some sales, right? Okay, I mean, that's what I do, right? I'm a recruiter. The Army taught me a skill. And I'd be really good at real estate if I go over there now, probably, because it's a little bit easier to sell a house than it is to sell the military. So, but anyway, we have the Army Cool program, which pays for your guys' certs, right? So say you don't want to go to, you don't want to go to college, you don't want to go to, community college, you can come here, you can join us, and we will pay certs. So let's say CompTIA, medical EMT. In fact, if you go to the Army medical training, you get a free, what is it called? Advanced EMT cert right off the bat. You go to medical training, you learn that, you come back, and you can just start right in the field. Obviously, EMT is kind of like the beginning, but you can push to do paramedic work. I don't know if that's something you're interested in. So, CDL, who wants to be a truck driver? Nobody, right? All right, so I thought it was pretty bogus at first, but when I joined, I ended up getting my CDL. I did it civilian side for a little bit of time, and it made a good bit of money, and that was free. I walked in, joined, and then I went and got my free CDL. Project management, PMP, mechanical. Who wants to work on vehicles? Okay, what do you want to work on? Like motorcycles? Okay, cool. You said you did too?
Yeah.
What do you want to work on?
Like trucks.
Okay, so like diesel mechanic? Okay, cool. All right, so that's big in the military, right? With the Guard, we actually have full-time guys that work around the clock, and they fix all the vehicles in the state. And most of them have gotten free certs, obviously, because they're in the Guard, right? Or we've given them training, on-the-job training, to learn to work on those things. And again, that's why it comes down to MOS-specific certifications, which I'll explain to you guys in a little bit. All right, so the Montgomery GI Bill Selected Service. So let's say you're going to college, your tuition's free, and at the bottom of that page down there, you see how it says $481? Just look at the number. You don't even got to read the sentence. That money is going into your pocket while you're going to college. So if you're going to college, right, while you're there and your tuition's covered, they're giving you money on top of that, so you can use it on your rent, you can use it on your car, your room and board, your food, your books, whatever it is, right? Below that, there's another number. It says $350. Does not apply to everybody, but let's say you go and you knock that ASVAB out of the park. All right, you go in there and you nail, let's say, a 57 or something like that. That money's going to apply to you as well. And, oh wait, you just went to drill that month. It's another like almost $300. So you're looking at about $1,000 a month, right, in your pocket that you can spend on whatever you want in addition to your tuition being covered. So they're paying for your college, and they're giving you money in your pocket that you can use on whatever you need to do for those life expenses. Now, in addition, we do have a student loan repayment program, which you guys don't got to worry about because, let's be honest, you guys haven't been to college yet, right? Is anybody taking college courses while they're in high school? What are you taking?
I'm doing it next year. I'm going ahead.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Get a head start on it, right? Is anybody else doing that right now? No? Okay. MFEP down the line, say you guys want to do the lifetime in the Guard, they'll pay for your family's education. Not just a little bit, 100%. Money. So who in here is only thinking about money? Is that you guys wake up and think about making money when you graduate? Is that a big deal to you? No? Some people are shaking their head. You said no. That's fair. Who is focused on getting to the top of the food chain? Who wants like a big job? Like you're going into real estate, so you want money, right? You gotta like money. Okay. So a basic training is $8,000 sound like a lot of money? If we just give you $8,000, is that a little bit? Yeah. Okay. All right. So you go to basic training, you come back, you probably have about $8,000 in your pocket. I'd say that's a good bet. You have $9,000, right? You start working up the chain. You can go to basic training as an E4 just by going to RSP. And you come out of your basic training in AIT and you're coming back with, $10,000 in your pocket. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. When you're going to drill, right, this is a part-time job, but they do pay you. So it says right there, you're looking at about $240 for the first rank in the military. E1, private. And again, that adds that money on there, right? It's just going into your pocket. More money, say you want to buy a house, which you guys probably aren't worried about yet. You get a VA home loan. You can go vacation club, right? Free vacations. Military discounts. I know you guys probably all like sneakers and freaking hats and all kinds of cool like gear, right? You can get all types of discounts on that stuff. And then thrift savings plan, which you guys don't care about retirement, right? Who's worried about the retirement? Are you? Okay, all right. Well, at least somebody's excited about retiring at some point, right? So, all right. Full-time opportunities. So who is not sure, 100% not sure what they're doing? They're just up in the air right now. They don't know what they want to do. Okay. So when you graduate high school, right? You said you want to go work on vehicles, right? You want to do diesel. Are you going to tech school?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you guys have a vote tech program here?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you in that?
No.
Okay. All right. So what's the drive to wanting to go and work on diesel?
I don't know. I just working on stuff just seems like really fun.
Okay. Okay. So do you think military vehicles are cool? So what if you could work on a military vehicle every day, right? Say you wake up at 8 o'clock, you go to work, work in a military vehicle till 5, and you go home. And that's all you did all day is work on giant machinery, like artillery pieces, tanks, armored vehicles, Humvees, all that. I mean, it'd be kind of cool, right? You get good health care, they pay you pretty well, and you have literally no training outside of just the military training. They'll give you a job. Does that sound pretty cool? Okay. So that's what we got. So we have full-time opportunities all over the state, right? So say you guys, want more out of the Guard. You can go to base training, AIT, you come back, you're out of high school, and you're like, all right, let's get a full-time job. You can go work at a base or an FMS shop, which is a field maintenance shop, right? We have one over in Carlisle. Have you guys been there yet? Have you guys seen that? They work on vehicles 24/7, right? So they keep those vehicles operational so the Guard can function. So when there's a natural disaster, we can respond to it. We can show up. But those are some of the full-time opportunities. Or you can work at the base and you work on helicopters. So change your mind, right? You want to go work on the Blackhawks and Chinooks there? You can go do that. With literally just military job training, nothing else. All right. And the federal technician programs, kind of what I started diving into. You have to be in the Guard, right? But you can go work on vehicles all over the state. All types. Oh, so I guess I should point that out. $24 an hour. Does that sound good? As a starting job out of high school, does that sound good? That's a good bit of money, right? That's where they start. And granted, that's of 2023. I'm pretty sure it's gone up. And it says 4 10-hour work days, 3-day weekends, which that's flexible because sometimes I see guys just work 8-hour days as well, depending on where they work. Army pays program. So who wants to go work for like a big named company, right? You said Piedmont, right? So you think they just give out jobs to anybody? Probably not, right? Okay. So say you're done with your high school, right? And you go do whatever training, certs you want, right? And you're getting ready for that job and you're struggling to get an interview in there. We can give you an interview for free. We can literally guarantee you an interview with that company, right? Whether or not you land the job is up to you, but we'll give you the interview. We can guarantee it. So that is the cool thing is we will guarantee you interviews for whatever company you want to go work for. We'll give you the opportunity to show up in front of them, give it your best, and if you land the job, that's on you, right? Insurance, which you guys don't care about, but I'm sure you guys do. We offer medical, okay, and it is extremely cheap. I do have a gentleman in high school right now up at Shippensburg, and he is already setting up for the medical because his parents don't have it. And I don't feel bad for him. I feel excited for him because he's going to get some of the cheapest medical you can get, right? He's going to get TRICARE Select for $87 a month. So now his family don't got to worry about him because he's going to be able to go to the doctor. He's going to go be able to, go do dental, go to get his teeth fixed, whatever he's got to do, right? And that's just by joining the Guard. You have access to that. And then if you guys care about life insurance, that's on there as well. So, all right. So that's the end of that presentation. However, I want you guys to ask me questions if you have any. All right? Does anybody have any questions? No? Nothing? Got it.
How long did it take you to get your CDL once you started?
So when I started, I went to AIT, I came back, and granted, I took a little bit by choice. However, all you need is you need to come back from basic training and your AIT, which if you go to 88 Mike truck driver training, you'll come back, and as long as you finish your driver's training, which is probably like a few drills at your unit, your commander will literally sign a memo and says, hey, he's good to go, and it's a piece of paper. It's called a commander's waiver, I believe. You take that to the DMV, and they will literally give you your CDL. All you have to do is pay the processing fee of like, I don't know, $20 or $40, something stupid like that, right? But in the long run, like, think about how much, I think I remember hearing like a CDL was like 4,000 or 5,000 or something like that if you get it outside of that. But I had to do no training, no tests, nothing. I just walked in, gave them the thing, and they're like, oh, here you go. That was it. So for me, it took 10 years because I was lazy and didn't want to actually go and do it. But so hypothetically, you could go, you can come back from basic training and have it within 6 months. So it's a quick route if you want that job. That's easy peasy. So, and the amount of units that we have in the state that are truck drivers, it's a lot. So I was in a line haul unit, which does essentially what a over-the-road trucker would do. You drive tractor trailers, right? The military actually has tractor trailers. That's something that I did. I drove that versus like you see all those off-road vehicles, you put supplies in the back. We just drove standard tractor trailers. They were just tan. And that's called a line haul unit. So that's how I got my CDL. But is that something you're going into or just asking for them?
It was just real interesting when I heard that.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
something cool. You can get that type of certification just by doing the basic.
Yeah, absolutely. No? Anybody else have any questions? No? Okay.
So all the benefits sound great, that's really interesting. What would the next step be if I was interested?
So let's say that you came into the office and you're like, all right, let's start the process, right? I'm interested. You've sold me, right? This is something I want to do. You got to go to MEPS. Has anybody taken the ASVAB in here? Okay. All right. Do you remember your score? No? Not really? Okay. So the score that you get on the ASVAB determines what job you get, right? So you take your ASVAB, you go do your physical at MEPS, which is like a sports physical. You guys play sports? Please, somebody tell me you play sports. Somebody got to play sports in here. Okay, all right. So if you guys play sports, right, you get a sports physical. Same idea. You go to MEPS, you get a physical to make sure you're fit for the job, along with taking that ASVAB. Take the ASVAB, you do the physical, and then you're going to enlist. Whether it's that day, the next day, a week from then, whatever, right? Those are the 3 steps. ASVAB, physical, enlist. That's it. That's simple. However, it takes a little bit of time depending on certain situations, right? And you have to be 17 and a junior. But did that answer that, sir? Or?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right, so what are you guys doing after high school? What are you doing?
Be a radiologist.
Okay, cool. Why?
My mom was, and I just think it sounds like a good job.
Okay, awesome. Very, very cool. What about you? What are you doing after high school? Okay, nice. Why? Just like to help people? Okay. All right. Hey, that's good enough reasoning for me, right? Because if you're a CNA and you don't like helping people, I don't know if you should be doing it, right? That's fair. Okay. All right. What do you want to do after you graduate high school?
Probably like a carpenter or woodworker or something like that.
Okay, nice. Why?
I just find it interesting, I guess.
Okay. Do you want to make certain things? Is there like you like to design stuff?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right, cool, cool. What about you?
Pilot.
Pilot?
Yeah.
What kind of pilot?
Any airline, maybe fly for the military.
Okay, so helicopters or planes though?
Planes.
Planes, okay. And you literally have no preference on like what kind of planes? Like if they're big planes, small, like you want to, you know. Okay, all right, so like passengers and cargo kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So like a 747 kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, nice, very cool. You just find it cool?
Yeah.
All right. That's a big goal.
This isn't like really like that important, but like how much do you let like in the military? Do you train like?
So it depends. So it depends on your job, right? As a recruiter, we don't do really any lifting, let's be honest. It's just kind of what we do, right? We're in the office, we come out and talk to you guys, that's our job. However, when I was in 88 Mike, I was constantly lifting chains onto vehicles, right? Full metal chains, it's not light, right? We're dealing with Connexes, boxes, all kinds of crazy heavy wooden crates. So I had to be a little more, in shape. But yeah, the Army has a fitness test that we do every year. In fact, it just changed as of yesterday, surprise, kind of funny. So there are different events on that PT test, and that helps kind of gauge where you guys are at. And if you pass the PT test every year, you're good to go. But yeah, training-wise, it's more on you because it's the guard, right? So you can choose to go to the gym 7 days a week, or you can just work out when you go to drill. Obviously, I'd suggest you go to the gym maybe a few times a week versus, just doing a drill. But yeah, there is a expectation to stay in somewhat sort of shape, right? Because you have to pass that PT test. So now training-wise, when you go to basic training, is anybody not familiar with how to just do basic workouts? How about getting in shape without equipment? That's what they teach you at basic training. So you guys see a fancy gym, you want to go in there, you want to lift, do all this crazy stuff. The basic training will show you how to work out without equipment. So push-ups, sit-ups, runs, all kinds of different like workouts you can do without being in a gym, which is great. So, but yeah, there is a lot of training that you can choose to do, and you can even go and get like a master's certification to train other soldiers on how to be in shape as well. So that route is absolutely 100% real. So.